Yo, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to Bullony Basketball. Here today with a familiar face on the channel, but we haven't collabed in a while. My man, Triple Play Fantasy. How you been?
Been pretty good, man. Thank you for having me on. Always down to talk some NBA. NFL is cool because my team is still in it, but it's prime NBA season.
That's facts. But we're going to talk about a few topics today. Some of them are going to be dating back a few weeks ago. If you guys saw my last episode, it was my All-Star prediction, so I didn't really talk about the news with the NBA. But I think the first thing we're going to start with was the first thing that happened among these topics, and that was the big game at the Alamodome between the Warriors and the Spurs. Brought in an NBA record, over 68,000 fans. Just 1,000 fans short of the magic number. But anyways, it wasn't really a game. The Warriors completely demolished them. But I guess what's your takeaway here in terms of what you see from the NBA fans? Just how big of an impact the Warriors, like Steph, Clay, Draymond, and even the Spurs. I mean, it was a Spurs game, but you kind of can throw them in there. What do you think of like the impact it means, like for people to go out and come to this game and set an NBA record essentially?
Yeah, so I think it's funny that good for the Warriors that they won a road game. They've been terrible on the road all season, so any easy road W for them is always nice. It's just awesome, man. Like I started following basketball in the late '90s, early 2000s, and same with you. You've been following a while, and just to see like that many people watch a game live, and the Warriors, just because of how much like basketball has expanded, has probably gotten the most viewers in like a game like Game 7 against the Cavs. So for people to see that many people see a dynasty like that in live action is awesome. I think it's all like the NBA is definitely, I think, the best well-run league out of the big three between them, NFL, MLB.
hmm Yeah, I would say too. I mean, it probably did. Like I know, like you said, like they won a road game. It's amazing. I will say it probably honestly felt like a home game to an extent, just because like a game of that magnitude, something of such a special occasion. Warriors fans are going to be more incentivized to come in, and because, like I said, what was the number? Like 68,000. Like I'm sure like
Yeah.
at least probably 20,000 of that, maybe even more, were Warrior fans, and that's about how many they get at the Chase Center every night. So they probably like felt like, oh, it's a home game or something like that. Um,
The Warriors are 6-18, which is the fifth worst record in the NBA.
yeah,
Like, good for them
that's
on getting a road win. An easy one out of all that.
yeah, it's bad, and surprisingly, I think they did half of that like without Steph playing. Um, so I don't know, but honestly, I mean, I think it's big for the league. You know, you don't see this very often. I think the last time they had a game similar to this was like in 2009 or something. I think it was like the Nuggets, and I don't remember who, but I think it was like when Melo was on the Nuggets or something like that. And then like I think the old record was back when Jordan played, and I think it was a game against the Spurs actually. But or no, it was against the Hawks in Georgia somewhere. I don't know. But yeah, so I mean that's a long-lasting record. We probably won't see another instance like this for a while, maybe like a decade or so. Like that whole Warriors core probably won't be in the league. So it's just kind of
Mhm.
crazy to think of. But I don't know. You got any other final thoughts about this thing?
I, you know, so here's my one rant as a Wizards fan, as the last thread that I have of being a Wizards fan. We have not won in San Antonio since 1999. We play
Wow.
there on Monday. If there is any year for us to win in San Antonio, it is this year. Since but Garrett, since you've been alive, the Wizards have not won in San Antonio. That
That's
is
true.
absolutely crazy.
hmm
You can drink alcohol legally.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I'll have to hit you up after that game though, because now I'm interested. I didn't know That's got to be like the longest like drought against a single team in a single place.
So the Hawks won in San Antonio like 2 years ago, but
Hmm.
before then they hadn't won since 1996.
Jeez. Yeah. Well, then it's fate that the Wizards, at least in the next year or something like that, they got to get it done, right?
No, well, they've lost on game winners twice. That's the most heartbreaking part.
Yeah. Trust me, I know that as a Bulls fan myself. But we'll get to your Wizards here a little bit in a second. But first, we do have one more thing we're going to talk about ahead of that, and that is Kawhi Leonard. He's looking like he's back in the form. I think over the last 17 games, he's averaging like 25, 7 and 4, 1.5 steals a game on 54, 41, 85 shooting splits. And in the last 5, they're 4 and 1, and it's 58, 50, 89 splits, averaging like 30 points a game. I mean, the fun guy is back, right? I mean, he just looks like he's back. But I'll leave that up for you. What do you see out of Kawhi recently? What do you think?
Is it fair to say that he's a more decorated Jimmy Butler? Like, any given night, he can give you great offense and defense, hit the mid-range, but he just, like, is always hurt, or, like, he doesn't play as many games as you'd like him to. Am I kind of fair in saying that?
I think you're fair. I think the other thing too that makes him more decorated is just his jump shot. Like, you wouldn't think it just because like the way Kawhi's shot looks kind of flat, not a whole lot of arc. Like he kind of shoots like a line drive, but I mean he shoots it efficiently. And like I just said, he's basically like 50, 40, 90 almost in his last like 17 games. His last full season before he got hurt, he was doing almost that. So. I mean, yeah.
The Clippers are trying to keep him healthy for the playoffs. Like, you don't want him to not play, but you want to, like, the thing is, we will never see the Clippers team at full strength in the regular season because they're a bunch of aged vets that have played thousands of miles and have wear and tear on their bodies. But come playoff time, like, that's what they're saving their stars for. So,
right. Yeah. I
good
mean,
to see him. Kawhi's a great player. I'm glad to see that he's healthy. Ish.
For now. Hopefully it stays. Because I want to see him. I want to see him in a full playoff run. With the Clippers. Of course, since the bubble. It doesn't feel like they've really had a chance to redeem themselves. Because like the first year he got hurt, then the next year like everyone was hurt. And then now this year, it's like they're kind of back now. But, I mean, who's to say it probably won't change by the time we get to March, April. But I don't know. The way he's playing right now is pretty insane. I did get to see him live when he played in Indiana, and he was great that game too. That was really more of the Paul George game. I think he dropped like 43 that night. But I mean, these guys, they're still one of the best duos in the league. I think people just don't want to talk about them as much just because they've been together for so long. Like, people like new things, you know what I mean? Like, I kind of was just thinking about this literally right before we recorded because I was looking at the All-Star, like the voting for fans and players and stuff, and I saw they had, even though the fans had like DeRozan 6th, and I think the media had him like 10th, like the players had him 4th. Like they still gave him the kind of the same respect as they normally would. But remember last year, DeRozan was like 2nd in fan voting. Like now it's his 2nd year with the Bulls. The Bulls aren't playing as good. Like people don't want to see that, even though he's still having a pretty similar year.
I like the idea of players having some influence about who should get selected and who shouldn't. They're the ones that play in with them week in, week out. Or, day in, day out.
Yeah, I think, honestly, fans won't like this, but I feel like the players should probably have more influence than the fans. Just because they see it, on full display in front of them more so. And most of the fans, I mean, you see guys like Austin Reeves get votes and stuff, like, and Kevon Looney, who they're solid players, but not for the All-Star game.
Yeah, there's... Yeah. If the fans had this is one of the best tweets of all time. If fans had a vote in the All-Star contest, Yao Ming would win every year.
Facts. That's my guy right there, Yao Ming. And I'll even be the first to admit he didn't deserve making it his last year. He played like, what, 5 games? But
Yeah, something like that,
yeah.
unfortunately.
But anyways, I guess to tie it back into Kawhi here. I don't know. We got a little sidetracked, but to tie it back into Kawhi, I guess I wouldn't be surprised if I don't know if he's going to make the All-Star game just because he missed so many games early on. But I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps playing this well and there's an injury replacement for the West. Like, he might be that guy that gets in by that time. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I don't know. You got any other final thoughts on Kawhi? I mean, the Clippers have played better lately, but what do you think?
I think it's going to be what he does in the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
They really care about. I mean, like you said, the Clippers haven't really had a chance to show it all. They've kind of been a laughing stock for not even getting to the Western Conference Finals. So him and Paul George healthy, those two I feel like are as good as anyone. So,
I agree with that. And even when they did kind of get a chance, like in the bubble, like they really didn't have their guys because several guys didn't come in until like they started playing playoff games and all that stuff. But hopefully they can at least get a chance. And then if they lose, then I guess tough luck.
yeah.
But we can move on to the other side of LA. Same arena for now, but the other team, the other locker room, Los Angeles Lakers and your Washington Wizards made a deal this week. Trading Rui Hachimura for Kendrick Nunn and a few second-round picks. Talk to me in terms of, like, how would you, I guess, gauge this trade on both sides, and what are you feeling right now for your Wizards?
So as a Wizards fan, I knew it was coming, and I showed you receipts that I physically bet on Rui Hachimura getting traded.
You did, literally 24 hours before.
Yeah. It's clear as a Wizards fan. My bigger issue, because I don't think the Wizards did bad given the circumstances. They weren't going to pay Rui. He was making it very clear he wanted out, so you had to get something for him, and you got someone that you don't have to pay and 3 second-round picks. But the Wizards haven't had a second-round pick that has actually played for the team since Tommy Shepard has been GM, and continuing that since Ernie Grunfeld did. So, like, if you're the Wizards, it's a sunk cost on Rui. He was a top 10 pick, and it's what you get with him that is going to, kind of dictate. But for the Lakers, I like it. You're going to have to pay him after the season, but he's been a good player when proven healthy. And to be honest, outside the big three, the Lakers don't have a lot of depth. Pat Bev too, Thomas Bryant. But if Rui can come off the bench or he would fit in well with that starting lineup. So,
yeah, I think it gives them a little bit of assurance personally, like just because we know the trajectory of the Lakers. Like right now, they don't have their first round pick for who knows how long. Like it's like 4 or 5 years later. They're basically holding on to those.
They have their 2027 one left, but
they got that
sure.
in 2029. But even then, like, I mean, LeBron will probably be retired by then, right? AD might leave by then. Like their team's gonna basically implode, I think, by that time. They weren't a playoff team last year. If the season ended today, they'd be the 13th seed. That's even worse this year. Even though like they're closer in terms of games behind, like it's still a lower seed. So just like looking at the trajectory of the Lakers, it doesn't look good. Even if they made a late season surge and got like the 6 or 7 seed or something, like they probably still wouldn't go very far in the playoffs. So I think this is a good move just because of like it gives you some hope like for the future. I mean, like there's someone like Austin Reeves on the team who I think they would want to hold on to long term, and you can pair a guy maybe with you could pair him maybe with a guy like Rui Hachimura, who, like you said, I mean, he's not bad. I mean, he's shown flashes for sure. It's just been like, I think it was just kind of hard, like with the Wizards, like rotation to kind of get him going and kind of develop around him. It still seems like, to me personally, that I know recently there's been like reports, like I saw like Shams the other day saying like they want to make Kyle Kuzma the person on the team, which that could be possible, but it just seems like to me like they still aren't over like building around Bradley Beal. Like that's just like what it's been. And until like there's something catastrophic that happens after that, I feel like the team is just kind of going to be a similar team. Like you guys could be a playoff team for sure with Bradley Beal as a key player. I mean, you guys have in the past, but I just
not
don't
anymore.
know.
Bradley Beal's on the decline of his career. It angers me as a Wizards. It angers me as a Wizards fan that we didn't trade him and get some value earlier.
I won't deny he's on the decline of his career, but I think you could still be a playoff team with him as like a key player. It's just I don't think you're contending for anything really. Like that's the point. And like these other young guys like Rui and even maybe like other guys might go too, like Gafford. You saw like Thomas Bryant, he was a Wizard, now he's on the Lakers too, so
I hope Gafford stays. I like him for what we're paying him.
I like Gafford too, and then we traded him to you guys.
Yeah.
Full
circle.
Yeah, but I don't know. We didn't really talk about Kendrick Nunn. I mean, what do you think? Do you think he could add anything to the team, or?
I think maybe the Wizards flip him again. Like they're I think 2 games out of the 10 spot. So if you can get any value for him, and this has been the Wizards' problem, is they never tank. There's actually shirts in DC, and they say "We will never," and it's an actual tank on there because it's like a slogan that our owner Ted Leonsis said. So the smart thing to do would be if they flipped him, but on the Wizards he'll probably get some usage, but it's kind of crowded at guards with Jordan Goodwin and DeLon Wright, Beal, Kispert if we play him at the 2,
Monte Morris too.
Monte Morris, yeah.
There's this. I don't know how a team can have like, but the Wizards do. That's why they're so fascinating. They have like I feel like so many at like different positions that are like equal-ish value maybe. So it's like playing time isn't going to be like it's not going to be I guess dominant by single players except maybe Beal, Porzingis, and Kuzma really. But I don't know. Like, yet they're still not like a great team. It's just I don't know how they're going to resolve it, but I agree with you. I don't think they should keep Kendrick Nunn. They should probably just trade him too. Or if they want to keep him, then maybe like trade some of those other guys, like a Monte Morris or something like that. But I don't know. You got any other final thoughts about this trade?
Finally, tank Wizards. Get rid of everyone.
Facts. But we can move on. We could talk about, we talked about Kawhi as a player who's been playing good lately. We'll talk about another player right now. Not like superstar level, even though he has been an all-star many times before, or multiple times, I should say, not really many. And that is Victor Oladipo, who I think personally has been playing really good lately. I mean, in the last 13 games, he's averaging 15 points, about 5 rebounds, 5 assists, on 45% from the field and 36% from 3. We know, I think ever since he came to Miami, he's really been able to, showcase his defense. Like that's kind of stayed, I would say, the same as like when he was with the Pacers in 2018, 2019, playing his best basketball. And in those last 13 games, they're 9-4 too. So, I mean, they're winning, like, and he's playing really well. What do you think of, if Victor Oladipo is back, of course he's not going to put up the same numbers, but if he's back to anywhere remotely close to what he used to be, how good do you think the Heat can be? And do you think there's at least a glimmer of hope that they can still be a top team in the East?
Yeah, I feel like Miami was the best spot for Victor Oladipo. They always seem to get the best out of their players, and they basically got him for nothing. Trading up-wise, I know they did have to pay him a little bit, but it's going to be tough to see Miami in a 7-game series. Remember, in the bubble, they were the 4th seed, and they made it to the finals and obviously lost to the Lakers. But they're tough in the playoffs. Like, they match up really well. They're really good defensively. I think they saved their players to be at full health. They've never been a team in the last decade or so, or since they left LeBron, that's been a top 2 or 3 seed. But I'm sure Milwaukee doesn't want to see them because they've lost them before. I think they'd be a tough matchup for the 76ers. The Celtics, they went to 7 games last year. So, yeah, maybe their regular season doesn't reflect it, but they're talented and well coached enough that they could make a run as long as they get in.
I think too, like at least for Victor Oladipo, what people might not like remember last year is like, in the playoffs, like the last game against Atlanta in the first round, like Jimmy Butler didn't play. He was sitting out, like kind of nursing an injury, but I'm sure he would have played the next game anyways if he needed to. But I mean, Victor Oladipo, really, that game, you can go back and check. He outplayed Trae Young in that game, basically a series clinching win. And then also the next series, he put the clamps on James Harden for several games. There's a lot of people that were saying, James Harden is finished. That's a big reason, too, why these whole narratives about Harden were happening this offseason. It's because Oladipo played such great defense on him in the second round. And then in the conference finals with Boston, I don't think he shot the ball that well, but he did have one game where I know the Heat got, like, destroyed, but he literally had, like, half the team's points in the first half. So I think this guy, he can still contribute at a high level. I feel like most of the guys that have at one point been an all-star, they know what it takes. They know how to adjust. And I think he's just another example of that. And, right now, like you said, Miami, they're currently like 6th in the East or something. Or they're like 6th, 7th, like in that range. But so not really a great regular season so far by them. They really started off slow. But, I mean, people don't want to see them in the playoffs. They might not be the most skilled team, but they're definitely going to give probably the most effort. And a lot of times, effort can get it done. So I don't know. I will ask you though, one question. I mean, just from what you think, I mean, Kyle Lowry, he struggled so far this year a little bit. Like, what do you
I think he's cooked.
What do you think about maybe like Oladipo being inserted in the Kyle Lowry's role? Like,
I'm with it.
You're with it.
I think that the Heat are deep. Like, obviously they have the stars in Jimmy Butler, Tyler Hero, Bam Adebayo. Duncan Robinson is getting paid pretty well and occasionally shows up. Gabe Vincent and Max Strus have been really good off the bench this year. They need to free Omer Yurtseven. That's what they need to do. They're keeping him hostage.
I think Duncan Robinson just gets PTO, and then he gets to go on his podcast.
Yeah,
but
he does free. He gets paid to do cardio.
Facts. Yeah. But no, I think they got a lot of guys. Of course, they have experience, but we'll just see if they can put it all together. But if you want, we can move on to the NBA 20 questions game.
All right, let's do it.
So I'll explain the rules for you again, even though I told you, and also anyone that's new watching. So basically, Triple Play Fantasy here is going to ask me a maximum of 20 questions, all yes or no questions to try and get closer to the NBA-related thing that he's trying to guess. It could be a current player, current team, former player, former team, a coach, anything like that. And for every additional guess he uses, he loses a chance to earn more points. So if he guessed it correctly after one guess toward the hint, then he gets 20 points, 2 guesses, 19 points, and so on. You're allowed to make one guess at the actual thing after every hint you have, although you don't have to do that, but you can. And if you don't know, you can give up, but you have to guess at least 5 times first. There's 3 questions as a whole, so there's a maximum of 60 points. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
All right. I'm glad I got through that. That's always it always is a tongue tire, like trying to get through the instructions. But all right, so the first question, you can start asking away.
Is he a current player?
Yes. Let me track how many questions you've had too. So that's only 1.
Okay. And I can guess.
Yeah, you can make a guess here too. It won't penalize you anymore, but you also don't have to do that.
Benedict Mathurin.
Interesting guess, but it is not Ben Mathurin.
Does he play in the East or West? Or does he play in the East Conference?
Yes, he does play in the East.
And it's not Benedict Mathurin.
It is not
Mitchell Robinson.
It is not Mitchell Robinson either. So you've only used two.
Has he been an all or yeah, has he been an all-star before?
Yes.
DeMar DeRozan.
It is not DeMar DeRozan.
Okay. Does he play in the Southeast Conference?
Let me make sure. The Southeast, yes.
Okay. Jimmy Butler.
Nope. Not Jimmy.
Okay. Has he been an all-star on the current team that he's on?
Yes.
Okay. So there's Beal. There's Trae Young. Maybe John Collins. Bam. LaMelo. I don't think anybody on the Magic. I'm going to go LaMelo Ball.
It is not LaMelo Ball.
Okay. I could try and get this in short questions, but I kind of want to keep this game going.
So you've only used 5 so far. Before you, I mean, and here's another thing. So you can make a guess like at the player and then another player and another player, but it's still going to take your point total down by 1 each time. So it's best to use at least a hint before you make a guess again. But
no. I'm going to continue using hints.
Mm-hmm.
Is his jersey number less than 10?
Yes.
Bradley Beal.
It is Bradley Beal. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Had to do it for your Wizards. And yeah.
Let's go.
Wasn't too bad. So you got that in 6 questions, which means you take 1 away from 20 every time. That's 15 points you just got on that.
Nice.
Not bad.
Nice.
Not bad. So are you ready now for the second one?
Let's do it.
All right. You can ask away.
Does he play in the West Conf? Or actually, no. First, is he an active player?
He is not an active player.
He is not an active player.
He is not.
Did he play in the last decade?
Yes.
Okay. That's 2. Is he in the Hall of Fame?
No.
Okay. Was he an all-star?
Yes.
Not retired. Dirk Nowitzki.
It is not Dirk Nowitzki. It's a good guess,
Does
though.
Does he have more than 5 all-star appearances?
Yes. You know what's funny? I literally thought that would be your next question too. Like,
yeah, probably. Probably. I gotta kind of narrow the field I'm going on.
That's why I was laughing.
Okay.
But yes.
Okay, more than 5, Tim Duncan.
No, not Tim Duncan.
Did he get drafted in between the years 2005 and 2010?
No.
Carmelo Anthony.
It is not Carmelo Anthony.
Did he get drafted in between the years 2000 and 2004?
Yes.
Amari Stoudemire.
It is not Amari Stoudemire.
All right. Well, I'm getting a narrow.
You're getting there, yeah. You're getting there.
Did he only stay in the East his entire career?
No.
That eliminates D Wade.
That it does.
Lifetime All-Star.
Also eliminates like
At
Chris
least.
Bosh, but
Yeah. Already said Melo. He's not active, so it can't be Braun.
Or actually, Bosch is in the Hall of Fame now. But yeah, whatever.
Is it? Is it? Is it Yao Ming?
It is not Yao Ming.
It is not Yao Ming.
Yao is in the Hall of Fame too.
Oh, he is. That's
Yeah.
so stupid of me. Is he in the Hall of Fame? Oh no, no, you already said.
Yeah, you already asked
no.
that. You already asked that. I'm not counting that
Yeah.
away. So far, you've used 8 questions, by the way.
Okay.
The next one will be
All
your
right.
9th. So,
Um, is he over 6'10"?
no.
Okay, so that eliminates Paul Gasol. Going through the drafts, a five-time All-Star drafted between 2000 and 2004.
He did make at least 5 All-Star teams. Could have made more, but he also
Yeah,
committed
at
just 5.
least five All-Star teams from 2003 and 2004. Is it Joe Johnson?
It is Joe Johnson. Yeah.
Damn, that's a good one.
Yeah, that I'm very impressed that you got it. It didn't seem like you like completely narrowed it down either, but I mean,
Then I
yeah.
started going down by teams. I was like, all right,
Mm.
who in that year actually like played on these teams that I can conceptualize? And when you start out with Atlanta,
I mean, the fact that like you knew like all the guys from each span too. When I feel like most times like I might do this with someone and like they might like guess a time frame and then they start guessing people outside the time frame and then they're like really confused. But nah, you had it down pat. But yeah, so you got 12 points for that one because you used 9
nice.
questions. So right now you got 27, but there is one more left. So are you ready for the final question?
Let's do it.
All right. You can ask away when you're ready.
Um, current, is he a current player?
No.
Is he in the Hall of Fame?
No.
What? I feel like I'm going to ask the same questions I did before, but I don't care. Was he drafted between 2005 and 2010?
No.
Actually, it's like I should have asked if he played in the last decade first. Um, did he have at least five All-Star appearances?
No.
Ooh, oh, we're getting. Was he at least an All-Star once?
No.
Wow.
It is not an active player. That's all I've said so far. But it could be any
Yeah.
NBA related thing.
What do you mean related thing?
So it could be a current player, a former player, a current team, a former team, a coach, a move. So,
Oh,
yeah, I didn't want you to go too
gotcha.
far down the wrong path.
Is it a team?
It is not a team.
Is it a coach?
It is a coach.
And he's not active.
Uh,
Jerry Sloan.
well, I didn't say he's not an act. Are you asking if he's an active coach?
Yeah, like is he one of the 30 coaches in the
Yes.
NBA?
Yes, he's an active coach.
Is he on the East or West Conference? Or is he on the East Conference?
Yes, he's in the East.
I mean, I can guess and it doesn't hurt. Um, Jacques Vaughn.
It is not Jock Vaughn.
Is it in the Southeast Conference? I
No.
also don't know all the coaches. So.
It is not in the Southeast.
Okay. So that means I can guess though. Mike Budenholzer.
It is not Mike Budenholzer. So far, you've used 10 questions on this one, so you're halfway there. You're still fine.
Yeah. Is he African American?
I do not think so, but let me double check. Yeah, he's not. He's not.
Um, it, Tom Thibodeau, your guy.
It is not Tom Thibodeau.
All right. Well, can't be. No, Nate McMillan's in the Southeast. Is it Rick Carlisle?
It is Rick Carlisle.
Rick
Yeah.
Carlisle, my man.
So because you made back-to-back player guesses, it took one more away from the total, but you still got that one in 12 questions, so that is 9 points. Not bad. 9 points on that one.
Go.
So overall, you got 9 for that one. You got 12 for the one before that, and you got 15 on the first one, which that's huge.
Yeah,
So overall,
let's do it.
I think that's, if my math serves me right, 36 points. That's pretty good.
Thank you. Yeah. Let's
Thank
do
you.
it.
Yeah, so one more thing I've been doing to end each show is to ask all my guests to give me at least one NBA player. Now, this could be a current player or a former player. They both could be current, both could be former. You could mix it up. One player that you do like and one player you do not like.
One player I do like, I like Jared Allen a lot. Jared Allen shoots a great percentage. He's a great defender. He seems like a funny guy. Seems like a great teammate that doesn't, care about his stats too much. And I'm glad he's compensated. A player I do not like.
Could be for any reason. Could be just...
Yeah. Um. Somebody I don't like. Or I don't feel like the NBA isn't as. I even like LeBron now. Um. This is interesting. A player I don't like.
Or it could be like a common like foe or something like that. Like maybe someone like every time you played him, it's like, man, this guy always goes off or something.
Yeah. This is a good question, and you saved it for last. You know what? I don't like Draymond. I don't like Draymond. Fuck him. Sorry if you're not allowed to cuss on this pod. Fuck him.
That's completely fair. I don't think most people like him. I don't think his teammates like him. I know Jordan Poole probably doesn't.
It's just crazy that he strikes Jordan Poole in the chest before the season, and it's just like swept under the rug.
Yeah,
it's absolutely crazy.
It is. Well, you see the results. They haven't been playing that great now, so I don't know. I thought it was funny you picked Jared Allen too, because he was in our contract video we did last year.
Yeah, that's how you know it's consistent.
Yeah.
That's my love for him.
Yeah, I respect it. But other than that, though, I think that's going to do it for the show, and I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching. You got any final thoughts before we close this out?
Jakob Hurdle and
Cam Reddish.
To say it. Jakob Hurdle, Cam Reddish, join Rui Hachimura. Get traded, change your livelihood so I can make some money.
Jakob
I'm
Hurdle
speaking it into existence, so hopefully it hits.
And hopefully Jakob Hurdle goes to the Bulls, because we need like someone down there, someone.
I think you guys need to. I think you need to strip the team.
That's also an alternative. I mean, honestly,
I know this is a little aside. I'd like to see this trade happen, and I know you probably would not like it as a fan, but I'd like to see them trade DeMar DeRozan to the Grizzlies for like this probably wouldn't be as good for you guys, but it would make sense, of like Desmond Bane and like young draft picks. Like Desmond Bane is probably a okay building block, but you're not going to win with the current team you have now.
Yeah, honestly, I'd have to think about that, because I don't know. I like Bane. I've always been high on him, but I just wonder if the Grizzlies would do that. Like, I don't know.
I think they would. This is their this is their like year to win. This
Mm,
is their year to win or their window. DeRozan's going to make you better. So
that's true.
I think if you're them, you have to make a move to try and win it all.
Bane and Jakob Pertl. I'm down for that. Down for
Yeah.
that duo. But yeah, I mean, other than that, appreciate you being on. Hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you guys for watching, and we're out. Peace.